Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. My wife thought I used my sexual assault as an excuse to cheat. Abuser convicted guilty, my wife wants me back. This is such a long story that takes place over a series of months. I'll try to get all the details without going on for too long. So basically I, 30M, got raped at a party about 8 months ago. I got drunk and an acquaintance of mine took advantage of me. I hardly remember it, but I woke up the next morning naked with a vivid memory of what had happened. I remember putting up a fight, but not much else. I also have a very vague memory of her holding a phone the entire time, but that's about it. Will be important later. I immediately went home and told my wife. She was extremely sympathetic and let me cry on her shoulder. I was a sobbing mess. At the time I did not want to press charges because I didn't know how it would go if I, a male, accused a woman of raping me. Anyway, I ended up telling my friends because they questioned why I stopped showing up to gatherings. The girl's response was basically that it was consensual and I was lying to keep my wife from getting mad at me. Half of my friends believe her and the other half are on my side. It was a mess. In the end, I decided to just distance myself from them all. One of my supportive friends contacted me letting me know that she had gotten pregnant, but ended up aborting. This was a whirlwind of emotions for me, but in the end I decided that it was for the best. My wife took this in a different way. She says that she wasn't aware that my abuser made me finish and that I wouldn't have come if I genuinely wasn't enjoying it. We argued for days and she kept telling me I was sick for faking a rape allegation just so I could cheat on her. We've separated but are not yet divorced. I've been staying with my brother. Well, at this point, I decided that I needed to go to the police to clear my name. I hired a lawyer, and when he heard my recount of the events that I remember, he was absolutely convinced that she had recorded the encounter. I don't know why. All I mentioned was that she was holding a phone, but I guess it makes sense. Anyway, her phone and laptop were searched but there was nothing. It took months, but finally we were able to retrieve the video via the cloud. I guess you can't really ever fully delete something. The video clearly depicted me in a vulnerable state and incoherently trying to get her off of me. It was sick. Anyway, with this evidence plus witness accounts, courts sentenced her to 2.5 years in prison. When this happened, I guess my wife realized that I actually had gotten raped and has been pleading to get back into my life. She says she made a mistake and just assumed, and she's so sorry, but I don't know if I can ever forgive her. Should I continue with divorce or try to work things out with her? 2.5 years of prison time. US criminal justice is pathetic. Yes sir, it is. I can't believe only 2.5 years. The justice system is a joke. My former brother-in-law raped a 13-year-old multiple times, well, several, but got convicted for just the one, and had a previous felony on his record. He got 10 years, which in his state means out in 4 years. His victim still isn't 18 and he is about to come back to the same town. Our system is fucked. I'd come about taking her back or not, but good for you going to court and winning. Sorry you had to go through it. Thanks. I wouldn't have won if my lawyer didn't fight for the existence of a video. She actually tried flipping it on me and said that I raped her. She used the abortion as proof and said she didn't want a baby with her rapist. It sucked. She wasn't stupid enough to record it. I probably would be in prison right now. Locked, as this has run its course. Thank you for all that provided advice. My 26F fiance, 27M, left me for his one that got away 4 years ago. They've divorced and he wants to get back together. My fiance broke our engagement off when his high school girlfriend moved to our city. They quickly got engaged, married and had a baby before it had even been a year. I was so blindsided and hurt. I don't think I ever really got over my ex, which is why I'm making this post to get some outside insight. My ex reached out a few days ago to catch up. He claimed he regretted breaking up with me 2 months after he did, but because his ex-wife was pregnant at the time, he felt he owed it to his son to try and make it work. He said their relationship quickly fell apart when he realized his ex wasn't looking for a life partner but someone to financially financially support her. He said the financial issues is what finally led to their divorce. They've been divorced for 6 months and have 2 children together. According to him, his ex regularly tries to get back together with him, but he doesn't want her. He ended up asking me if I was willing to give him a second chance. In some ways, my ex has become my one who got away, and I probably would have jumped at the chance to get back with him a few months ago. However, I've recently been talking to this guy, and whilst we aren't official or anything, we did go on a date 2 weeks ago which went really well. I feel like it could progress into something good, and I don't know if my ex is worth losing it over. I'd appreciate any advice on what to do in this situation. Too long didn't read. My ex left me for his one that got away. 4 years and 2 kids later, they're now divorced. My ex claims he regretted leaving me 2 months after he did, but felt like he had to stay for the sake of his unborn child. He now wants a second chance, but I've met someone new who seems like a great person. I don't know what to do. He stayed for the so-called sake of his unborn child. Awesome. How did he end up with baby number 2? This is a man who is using his kids and his wife's faults as a way to get back into your life. It sounds like you are feeling sorry for him and excusing his actions. The way he is talking to you about his ex is the same he talked to his ex about you. I would stay away from him, but that's just my 2 cents. This was an eye-opener, thanks. He wants you to help support him and pay his child support. Tell him see ya. No. Ironically, it seems like you're the one that got away now. Do you really want to be with someone who's willing to leave you for someone else at the drop of a hat? Even if what you have with the new guy falls through, it's still better to be alone than to be with someone who doesn't value you. He's the same guy who dumped you cold after asking you to marry him, except with more baggage and some other woman's baby. Hard pass. My 21M dad, 54M, constantly makes jokes about my rape. To keep my background short, I was in a relationship many years ago for 2 years. It was toxic. It was fuck me or I'll cheat on you. It was you aren't a real man if you don't do things with me. This was in the 8th 10th grade. Horrible awful shit. I have forgiven her sins. I talked to her years later about it. She was being raped by her stepdad during our relationship, and that violence and awful shit basically got transferred onto her and then onto me. I finally had the guts to tell my parents about what happened to me about a year ago and to explain how that went. I'll give a quote from my dad. I don't understand how you didn't like it. He doesn't believe a man can be raped unless by another man. But that shit really fucked me up for a long time. Even to this day it still fucks me up. I can't get hard sometimes because I get such anxiety about it. One time I talked to my parents about it when I was like 20, and to this day if I ever go out with a girl, my dad will say, "Could you get it up this time?" and laugh away. Just to give an example. I just don't know what to do. I feel like shit about it way too often to be healthy. So from 15 to 18 I had a relationship with my best friend's mum, who was 22 years older. Naturally at 18 I thought it was cool and bragged about it to my dad and his friends. Well, at 30 I realized how fucked up it was, and 5 years later he still thinks I'm in that 18 years old mindset. I have an almost 16-year-old son and I'm 38 years old. I couldn't imagine doing that to a child. It hurts my heart that an adult had engaged with you that way. I feel it is extremely abusive even if it is consensual. Want to protect children, not use them. Not to offend, but your dad's a piece of shit. If you can cut him out of your life, do so and get yourself into therapy if you can. I'm so sorry you've had to go through that. That is awful. I'm a survivor too, and I'm had similar insensitive comments and it hurts so bad. If you want to try and have a relationship with your dad, I suggest you talk to him and tell him how much it hurts you, and if he continues to speak to you that way, then you can't have anything to do with him. However, you would be completely justified if you cut him off completely. Please find someone to talk to about what you've been through. You're strong and things will get better. You're not alone. Heart. What your father is saying to you is demeaning and terrible. What happened to you is not your fault. I had something similar happen. It was horrific, and even 2 years later I still get massive anxiety just talking to women. I highly recommend therapy and finding the proper resources. Ask him what he thinks comments like that will accomplish. This very often makes the offender tone down a bit and question their own line of thought. By the time they return back to the real world, they will either realize and apologize, or they will try to make another comment, but it won't be successful because they've already lost the zest and all you've to do is keep staring at them or walk away. I like this. Very simple. You don't even have to think of a comeback, and it's decent and not egoistic.